Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. We have a lot of news to talk about. For example, why am I wearing a Super Mario themed Taiwan map on my t-shirt? We might also talk about how I ended up in the news together with a singing congresswoman and a congressman. We will also talk about how the entire world is depending on Taiwan. But before we get started with the actual video, I just want to address the very tragic news that the entire world has been talking about to support Taiwan, and that is the number 408 train derailment outside of Hualien. Now, I don't want to talk about this news at all. It's not because I don't think it should be addressed. This YouTube channel and this news series should only focus on funny, entertaining, and other ways we can actually promote Taiwan to the rest of the world. So when it comes to tragic news and a disaster such as this one, obviously I will not make any jokes. The only thing I want to do is to raise awareness that they have actually set up several different ways to donate to the victims of this accident, both from Taiwan and from the rest of the world. And I will link everything you need to know down in the description below, and I will also let you know that I will actually donate all the ads revenue that comes in from this video to these donations as well. So in the end of this video, I will ask YouTube to put in a lot more ads than I usually do, and hopefully you will also watch these ads a little bit longer so we all together can contribute and at least assist somehow when it comes to the victims of this tragedy. Okay, I will try to continue with this actual video, and I think the best way to do that is to switch to something super positive right away. And I do want to talk about the reason for why I'm wearing this Super Mario map of Super Taiwan on me today. And if you're already subscribing to my channel and you've seen my previous news videos as well, then you know that I have actually already talked about this illustrator. His name is Miguel. He lives in Peru on the other side of the world, but somehow still decided to make a map of Taiwan, which you on his website can put on pretty much anything you want. And I finally got it here in Taiwan in my studio as well. And as if that was not enough, I actually had the honor to have an interview with Miguel himself, talking about his love to Taiwan and what actually made him draw this map of Taiwan in the first place. And if that is something that you want to see, please do make sure to subscribe to this channel, because this interview will come out very shortly. But more about that and a lot more about Miguel in a future video, because in this video we still have a lot of unfinished business, because we're gonna talk about one of the biggest Taiwanese related news that have hit the world this year, and that completely stopped all other news and all other boats as well. I am of course talking about the Evergreen ship, which was stuck in the Suez Canal for 6 days, causing a total stop to pretty much all of the entire world's shipping routes. But as I mentioned, after 6 days they were finally able to rescue this ship and start using the canal again. So that means that I don't have to talk about Evergreen ever again, since this now is, as the saying goes, water under the bridge. Or I should say, there is now water under the ship, which means that I don't have to continue talking about how Evergreen is stopping traffic. Okay, so this is a news report about a traffic jam in China, and I don't even know what to say anymore. Usually how this goes is I try to come up with a joke to talk about a news. In this case, I think that the news is the joke, and when it comes to funny comments from my side, I am completely stuck. Just like Evergreen. Don't worry, we're not gonna talk about this news anymore. What can I say? I simply don't have the energy to continue talking about Evergreen. But speaking about green energy, European Union have recently invested a lot of money in Taiwanese windmill and these offshore winds. And in comparison to the management of Evergreen, who must have had a stressful couple of weeks to say the least, the management of the Taiwanese green wind power, since they did receive total of 56 billion Taiwanese dollars in investment from the European Union last year, have had a breeze. But if you thought that 56 billion Taiwanese dollars was a lot, that's actually only 56% of what TSMC are planning to invest the next couple of years, since they want to expand both their productivity and their research and development. And this is very welcome by the entire world's population basically, because if you weren't aware, the entire world is currently seeing a very severe chip and semiconductor shortage, which has affected everything from earphones to cars. But if you thought that 56 billion Taiwanese dollars was a lot, that's actually only 4% of what the US government is planning to invest when it comes to the semiconductor manufacturing and research. But if you think that 4% is too low, then we can instead jump up to 58%, which I believe is the standard alcohol level in a bottle of Gaoliang. And why are we talking about Gaoliang? Well, actually a couple of weeks ago there were some Gaoliang related news in Taiwanese media, which was very interesting, but that I totally forgot to report about, which now when I think about might actually be one of the consequences of drinking too much 58% Gaoliang in the first place. Regardless, there have actually been 2 Gaoliang related news in Taiwanese media recently, with the first one being that the Gaoliang Corporation are looking for university promoters to educate students about the importance of responsible drinking. The second news is that the Gaoliang company no longer are looking for these university promoters, since there were some misunderstandings about how an alcohol company can actually pay students to promote safe drinking instead of having them promote Gaoliang itself. Now, call me traditional or old-fashioned, but I personally think that this is good news, since I believe that Taiwanese universities shouldn't focus on working with alcohol brands in the first place. Instead, I think that Taiwanese universities should focus on discovering groundbreaking technique on how to drive quantum innovation. Now, if this news about quantum innovation, just like the Gaoliang promotion campaign, is a little bit confusing, then please do let me explain. The team was able to develop a new technique to selectively etch the surface of hexagonal boron nitride substrates into arbitrary geometric patterns. But Lukas, why is this so important? Excellent question. One advantage of this approach is that the substrate topography can be arbitrarily defined through nanolithography, with a potential to approach 2.5D and 3D patterning, thereby opening up more possibilities. Now, this is obviously great news and something that we all should be very thankful for, but something that I'm even more thankful for is that I no longer have to type my own subtitles, because I have honestly no idea what I just said. I mean, the substrate topography can be arbitrarily defined through nanolithography? What does that even mean? And speaking of things that I completely do not understand, don't worry, we're not going to cover everything that I don't understand in this world. That would be the world's longest YouTube video, so we will save that for another day or week or year. But this might actually be the funniest news I have ever covered in this news video series, and it is hilarious. This is so funny. This is the news about how a military-run news site accidentally revealed a secret radar on FUHE. And I don't know, maybe I'm the only one who finds this hilarious, but how ungrateful do you think that the person who was assigned to draw this truck must feel when they've spent days just painting the truck in camouflage color, only to have their own employer, the military themselves, put up a photo to spread the news about this secret radar system to the rest of the world? However, to the military's defense, since they now do need all the possible defense they can possibly get, the news is actually not about the existence of the secret radar system itself. It is about its location, since it was seen on a ship around the FUHE Islands. Now, this news article doesn't actually explain why this radar system was all the way out in FUHE, so I think it's up to every single one to speculate on their own. One thing I can add, however, is that if the military ever will consider putting this radar system, who is installed on top of this truck, who in FUHE was put on top of a ship, if they ever want to take this radar system to the middle of Sun Moon Lake, then sadly they may not even need this ship in the first place, since Sun Moon Lake now have turned into Sun Moon Land, since the area have suffered the worst water drought in 56 years. But sadly, Sun Moon Lake isn't even the only thing that has dried up here in Taiwan recently, so also has the travel interest to Palau through this first Taiwan-Palau travel bubble during COVID-19. Again, this specific news report doesn't actually mention the exact reason for why these tickets haven't sold. I have, however, already talked about this in a previous video, and if you want to take advantage of this travel bubble with Palau, you actually have to go with travel groups and to visit predetermined destinations. And the fact that these tickets were sold for up to 80,000 Taiwanese dollars. Wait, sorry, no, I need to correct myself. The fact that these tickets were not sold for up to 80,000 Taiwanese dollars might be a reason as well. With that said, if there are any travel agencies out there who are thinking about how they can promote these trips and how to make the Taiwanese people more aware about Palau, you know who to contact. Me. I don't know if that was clear enough, but you do have my Instagram here. If you scroll down, you will also have my email address, which is how you can contact me if you ever want to send a YouTuber from Taiwan over to Palau. And halfway down to the description box, where once again you will find my email address, you will also find the link to the donation information for the victims of the Hualien train crash. Halfway down to this box, you will also see a subscribe button which you can click on to subscribe and to support this channel. You also have that bell which you can click on so you get notified as soon as I release new videos, because in the very near future I will release a video that will explain why a congresswoman, congressman and Lukas Engström ended up in a news report covering everything from singing to the Swedish flag. But I think we'll have to save that for a future video as well. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lukas. Starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both, and see you all in the next one.